Good evening, Mingalaba and Sawadee Krap. Welcome everyone to our free webinar Series 2 about our curriculum, our online program, Start Right in business English. Today, you stay with me, Thanakon Sangkalat, the uh, director of this program. For today topic, we will meet with our instructor, uh, uh, Mr. Wayne Eldon Ludwigsen II. Uh, he is the professional in the business English with 25 years experience in both teaching business and entrepreneurship. Mr. Ludwigsen has empowered thousands of individuals in hundreds of companies around the world with the communication skill and strategy to enjoy success. So, from his experience, not only in the uh, university student that he give a coaching, mentoring to enhance their skill, like from NIDA Business School. Mr. Ludwigsen is the regular business English lecturer in the intensive course for business, the NIDA Business School in Thailand, Bangkok also. So today you will get the knowledge sharing from him about the detail of the Start Right in Business English that we will organize this online program start from 1st November until the end of December 2023. So he stay with me now, Mr. Wayne Eldon Ludwigsen II. Uh, Hello, Mr. Wayne, Mr. Ludwigsen. Yeah, uh,
Hi
please.
there.
Yes.
Ah, hi there. Hi there. Tanakon. Hi. And hello, everyone. I'm really glad to be back in the webinar here and talking to everyone. Uh, Something of is communication. So it's always great to have an opportunity. And thanks for the great introduction. Thanks. I've trained and taught so many people. I guess a lot of maybe many people don't realize I've also uh, opened businesses and I've held sales licenses as well in uh, insurance, life and health insurance, and in uh, mutual funds, securities, and also in real estate in California, where it's quite heavily regulated there. So, all very, very interesting experiences working in those industries. And that's what I wanted to focus on a little bit tonight, too, because I know that, well, times are difficult. Has happened sometimes, and a lot of businesses, both small and large, are thinking about ways to increase or maybe just maintain their revenue. And I happen to be someone who really believes that communication is the key for that. So I'm going to be talking here a little bit about how the Start Right Business English program can help you do that. And it does in many different ways. So first of all, let's begin a little bit simply. I have a very simple, very basic question for you. If you're not only if you're in sales or marketing or what I call true customer service, but if you're an entrepreneur or a manager in any kind of responsible position, um, a good question that I really consider at the heart of business is for your business, is sales something you do to a customer or for a customer? And this is really a classic question. I think it was first brought up. I think maybe one of the first times I saw it was in one of the books by old time door to door, very old time famous door to door salesman named Zig Ziglar, who built an enormous reputation on his sales success success going door to door. And probably the first time when I read one of his books some time ago, a long time ago, this is one of the questions that really stuck out at me, and I think it's really at the heart of business, because your answer to this question really tells whether you're going to get long-term success or not. Trying to control people's emotion, and sure, you can make sales that way, no doubt, but you don't make long-term loyal customers that way, and you don't make a team that believes in what you're doing. All people need something a little bit more than money to believe in. I mean, that's a truth. People like to believe in something greater than themselves. When they can believe in something greater than themselves, you're going to see their best performance. And needed for companies. And if you're a business owner, that's something we need to look at in your team. If you're a manager, in your performance, okay, something you do for a customer. Okay, well, how do you do that? It's probably the next question on your mind, and that's a very good question. Very good question. When we're saying do something for the customer, do something for people, we're not just talking about selling. We're talking about solving problems. You can tell that this is where the communication skills start coming in, and this is a lot about the Start Right program. It's not merely a bunch of vocabulary and words and saying, "Oh, this is business English." Sure, we're taking business English, but we're combining it with the communication skills you need to be successful in business, successful in your profession, successful in your relations with partners, or with your own company, with your team. So, not selling, solving. We're going to listen to people, listen to understand, not just to answer, not just to repeat our sales script, and that's another subject. Your sales script, we'll be covering that in the course, of course. But how do we do this? How do we listen to understand? What are we listening to? How do we solve things? What am I talking about? Well, we're doing something for people. We're solving their problems. You have to believe that. You have to be able to believe in what you're doing. I mean, if you're selling something, if your company's producing something that doesn't help people, well, this is something you might want to question inside, because you might have a hard time really motivating your team or eventually yourself. What we want to do is become the assistant buyer for our prospective customers. Okay. Yeah, exactly. We want to find out what they need, what their problems are, why they're looking for a service like ours. How do we do that? We ask questions, and okay, I give you examples. I'll ask you some questions right now. I mean, one of the important questions, I'm talking about motivation here. I'm talking about communication. Ask yourself, do you have a good service, good product? I hope the answer is yes. Does your service or product give long-lasting value? And when I say long-lasting value, you could look at it like this: is the customer still enjoying that service or product long after you spent the money that you made on that transaction? That may be one way to look at it. Okay. In most cases, the answer is probably yes there too. Okay. Now let's think about it. Would more reach? I'm saying, if you could reach more people, could you serve more people? Well, the answer there is probably yes as well. And would a more efficient team help you be able to reach more people? Well, of course it would. We're not talking only here about marketing. We're also talking about your team themselves believing in what they're doing, happy with their job. They become your brand ambassadors everywhere they go, to everyone they talk to, and even if their peer group or isn't in your customer target zone, that doesn't matter so much because people are going to see that you have happy employees, and that's very valuable. So from this, it leads me to another good point here. Okay, and this is really where the Start Right Business English program began to really develop years ago, as I've been teaching it and developing it over the years in many companies, training in the company, also trying to give entrepreneurs, upcoming managers and entrepreneurs the best tools I could, the best advice I could. You know, moving people from problem aware to solution aware. Many people have to be aware, the customer is aware of their problem, aware of what they need. We need to move them to solution aware, of course, aware of the solution. And lastly, brand aware. They need to be aware that you are the solution. And so many businesses, they spend a lot of time on marketing, communications, and public relations, trying to reach people. That's fine. Reach them. We want to understand what the problems are. We want them to know that. Give them that solution when they're aware of it. That's a great thing. We need that. This is an essential part of every business. And well, the point is, we need kind of a holistic approach here, because if marketing and sales, public relations is the only place you're focusing on good communications, well, it's going to be hard for you to last. You see, because communications take place in many levels and in many other places. If we're taking a communicative approach to our sales by asking questions, we need to take a holistic approach to our organization in terms of communication. We've got internal communications. Can teams understand each other? Can people in the team understand their supervisor? And then can they understand the manager? Or do we have instructions flowing this way and reports flowing that way? Does this fit together with the communications? It's really the glue that holds your organization together. It's the glue that makes an efficient organization. Moreover, like I said earlier, if you're focusing on sales as something you do to customers, where does that leave your customer service? Where does that leave your after sales service? Okay, we need to make all of this really hooked together in a circulating way. The communications need to be running quite well on many levels. You've got communications with your partners, maybe with government. So how do we create, systems that can handle all of these communications? That's a really good question. And we need to do it. It's probably not realized enough today that looking at communications holistically can do so much good for their service, for their business, for their service and their product. And for me, I consider helping people's communications, improving a business's communications is really a win-win, because I like to believe that your business is, again, doing something for people. Okay, we're creating something that can really be a foundation for brand belief, for your team believing in it, and for the people you serve believing in it. Okay, and that's great. And how do we do that? Well, once we face the truth that our organization can only be as good as its communications on all those directions, all those levels I've just talked about, we need some kind of system that's going to make that work. Okay, and this has to be, you really have to, the leadership of the company really has to buy into this, and they have to understand this and do a little bit of work setting it up. But of course, that's what the Start Right Business English program is all about, helping you do that, helping you have that cohesion, that nervous system in the body of your organization that can get the messages relaying and tell you how to move and when to move and where to go and how much, and be able to pick up the senses, what's out there in the market, what the market's telling you, and how you're going to respond. At heart, it all really revolves around a very simple strategy. What we're going to need are some clear messages that are easy to create and easy to interpret, and some standards. Okay. This is a diagram that I often show people because this is really the diagram of the whole strategy. What we need in our communications is clarity that lasts a long time. And we need communications that everyone can understand. Okay. At least that the person who's communicating and the person you're communicating to understands. Okay. The conditions of that, hey, it has to be easy to do. It has to be easy enough to speak, easy enough to write. It has to be easy to read or easy to listen to. Okay. So again, this has to be clear, something that can be clear for a long time. So we're probably not going to be using the most popular, latest slang of the day. Something that everyone can understand that's involved in that communication. It has to be easy to write and easy to read and easy to speak and easy to listen to. The method is by giving ourselves standard professional structures, standard professional phrases, and that's where we come in. Those standards are what we combine with great people internally and externally are getting those messages the way they should, believing in them and wanting to use them themselves. They inspire. So we look for the opportunities. Where do we establish these standards? We establish them in the 4 main channels. And these are the 4 modules of the Start Right Business English program. These 4 main channels. We're talking about the way people use telephones. Okay. We're talking about the way people are using emails. And we're talking about presentations that people are giving face-to-face or even through video like I'm doing now. Or in meetings where you've got a lot of miniature presentations going on and people responding, and all of these need standard professional structures, standard professional phrases. You don't want to just leave this up to nature or just assume because you're a genius, and maybe you are, that your staff is going to be able to do things automatically right, or that people are. Leaving things up to nature means only one thing. Whoever's going to be strongest or manipulate the others. I mean, we have organizational structures and civilization to produce the best, to make sure that the best ideas are being heard, okay, and that we can make decisions based on them. So again, these are some of the reasons that we created this program to start reaching people in different countries. These are certainly the reasons that I developed the Start Right Business English modules here over the years. And they've been quite successful, I guess I could say. People seem to enjoy them. I've seen people's, basically their lives, their businesses transformed because of them. But again, what that requires is some buy-in from the leadership. The leadership has to believe that, hey, communications are necessary, that our business is based on communication. And as all businesses are, there would be no business without communication. Okay, so that goes to show you that the better communication you have, the better business you're going to have, certainly. A little bit more about the Start Right program, the benefits that a business or a professional or an entrepreneur can get from that, talking about the 4 modules that I discussed, the emails, this gives you these clear and professional business English standards. So everybody, is communicating correctly. And, once you have those standards, I want to say, it's not really going to matter so much if you're having a little grammar mistake here or there, or your pronunciation isn't quite perfect, because people will trust you. When you're communicating with professional standards, people understand, they know what they're getting. But even if you speak perfect English, or you write perfect English, but you have, this is what builds a bridge, both internally inside your organization, outside, and externally outside to your partners, to your customers. That's why it's so important Okay, and it's so important to have, and that you can have these kinds of standards for emails, for telephones. We're going to do a little bit about sales calls. That's telephones are used for that often enough, but also just receiving calls and internal presentations, both internal and external. Presentations are extremely powerful. That's why with all the technology we have, we still do them, because face to face, one human being to the others and back is still one of the most powerful things you can do. Okay, and of course, with those skills, it develops, it's professional development, because we're talking about someone being able to confidence and speak with clear messaging and confidence in the brand. And then we come over to meetings where you're doing that, not just one, two-way. We're doing it many ways at the same time. So very interesting. And once we establish that in meetings, your company is going to have clearer lines of communication with responsible people and much better decision making. Okay, no longer is it just going to be who has the loudest voice or who strikes the owner better that day because you're in a good mood or something. We follow the standards that we have, and those standards help us to express ourselves better in the business environment. Okay. Well, this is really the core of the Start Right Business English program, and this is really what my message is this evening. That if we're going to focus on sales and marketing and PR, that's great. We need that, and there's a way to do that. You have to remember we're solving problems, and that's what gives you the confidence to produce good emails and get your team believing in it, produce good presentations, get your team believing in it, and so on. People have a common shared belief in your mission and what you're doing, and that's so important. And of course, that relies on communication. If you have the best mission in the world, the best business in the world, the best ideas in the world, if the communication isn't there, no one knows, no one cares, no one believes, and the company cannot survive past 1-2 years. Okay, you can't run around trying to repair and solve every little problem. Make sure every person is doing the right thing. Maybe when you're starting things up, but after a couple of years, unless it's just you and maybe 2 other people, and even that, you've got to develop better communication and the trust that goes along with it. So that's what good communication does. That's what I mean by Start Right. The program's called that. So that pretty much sums it up and what I wanted to talk to you this evening. I hope it's clear to you that the results of doing this and a holistic approach to good communication, what they're going to do for you, aligning everybody to the vision, to the objectives. That helps people so much when they have something to believe in. They can produce so much and good communication and standards. Well, that does build trust, and that is the heart of good salesmanship. Again, you're doing something for people. People believe it, not only externally but internally. Again, this is so powerful, actually, and that's what it does. It creates satisfied stakeholders. Partners are happy working with you. We can believe in it too, and of course, satisfied and returning customers. And we know what that means. That means rising revenue, loyal customers, loyal teams, and this is really the path to success. Very passionate about it myself. This interests you, and I did want to give the time this evening to answer some questions, because the Start Right business course is actually beginning. Let's see, on November 1st is that the course begins. And so I'd like to see you there. I really, because anytime you're improving communications. So I hope I can give you the attention you need and what you need to do that. So if anybody is interested, I'm not sure if we can, Tanakorn, if are there any questions we can see in the live feed or anything? I know I've gotten some questions before in talking to a few people. Okay. If we're there, but I have gotten a few good questions as I've talked about this course to people over the last few weeks. Someone has asked me, does this course improve my listening and speaking skills? Well, yes, absolutely. We're going to begin with the emails, and you're going to that's going to help, of course, your reading and writing, but it does improve your listening skills. And moving from listening to speaking, this is the natural way. And this is the natural way of development, in a language. So from there, we move to telephones, and it just gets more and more intensive for listening and speaking. So that was a good question. Do we have any other questions from the audience? If you do, please leave it in the comments. I'd love to get back to you. We're going to be having a Ask Me Anything session in our social media posts. I'd love to answer your questions. I love questions is something I tell every class, every group, every company I've worked with, because it's important for you to know. I would hate anyone sitting there in one of the training courses I've done or companies, businesses I've tried to take care of with questions and not asking them, sitting and worrying. Hey, don't waste your time. And if you're in a course like that, don't waste your money. You need to ask. You need to find out. You need to improve everything they can be with good communications. So that's always a way to start, right? Is asking questions, as I've said. Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay.
Mr. Ludwigson,
Are we?
I might have some questions
still
to
here.
ask. Okay. Could you please share
Yes.
that how this course will improve their skill for their communication skill again? Can you emphasize about this point again?
Okay, Kuntan Korn, I think you're asking me how the course can improve communication skills. Okay, is that right? Okay, that's a great question, and I keep talking about communication being so important, and communication is not just a lot of words. We don't become better speakers by just reading a book, okay, about speaking or something. We have to get in there and do it, just like a sport. That is the thing that we have in common with sports, is that you have to practice. So this course is going to involve a lot of practice. I'm not going to be just sitting here lecturing. Of course, I'll be doing a little bit of talking during the email session, but it's really focused much more on the sense being able to produce language, and not just the vocabulary and phrases of business English, but to learn other kinds of skills that help communication. I'm going to give you a quick example. Something that's very popular in the presentations section. Probably a very good example. Anyone who's given presentations knows that if you're doing this live in front of people, eye contact is very hard. So we're going to be doing a lot of training with eye contact, and I'm going to give a technique that helps you be able to check your notes and still give eye contact to the audience 100%. Okay, no more of this sort of faking. I'm reading my notes and nobody knows, because the audience does know. Okay, so I want to give a technique for that, and this is the kind of thing that people really appreciate. These are good practical skills. So that's just one example of improving communication skills, because eye contact is something you need, whether you're giving a presentation or in a meeting or even a video webinar like this. Okay. So I hope that answers the question.
Could you please talk a bit more about the structure of your program? How can you weight to those four function of the four skill of the communication uh, dimension that you show: email, telephone, presentation, and meeting? How do you weight for those curriculum programs contents?
Okay. Okay. I think that's a good question. And I think this is a question, if I understand correctly, this is a question really about the course design and why it's moving. The modules are moving, are set together in that order, and how this sort of helps to develop the communication. Is that right? Um, okay. Well, we begin with the email writing skills, and one of the reasons we begin with that is because email writing is something that almost everybody in the team is going to need, and this also gives the students of the course a chance to practice their listening skills, get used to talking with me, and get used to listening to me, and then listening to each other. So it serves a dual purpose. Learning to start right email system, which is really great, and it can really help even on its own, help a company so much. Know each other, to get to know me, and sort of helps break the ice, but also familiarize everyone with the kind of communication that we're doing. From there, we'll start to move into the speaking and listening. Telephones is a little shorter. The email, let's see, that's 6 hours. Each course is 90 minutes. I'm sorry, each lesson is 90 minutes. So that's four sessions. Then we get into telephones. Telephones is speaking, but of course it's closer to email in that we don't have any body language, do we? We just have the voice. So we're beginning slowly but surely developing more communication skills. Telephones, we're going to talk about internal standards and actually international standards in terms of answering telephones and taking messages and things. Special telephone language that we use. It's not like any other language, and that everyone can do that. And I'm going to talk about sales calls too, and give some language for that, because I know that that's something that the businesses need anyway. So let's see, that section is about two lessons. Then we're going to move into much more speaking on behalf of the students. Now, those telephones, I should say, at that point, the students are going to be practicing a lot of speaking together. Presentations, going to be even more so. We're going to learn not only the structure and language of presentations as they've been practiced for thousands of years, also the presentation skills as they've been practiced for thousands of years with no technology at all, and still absolutely successful. That's what we're going to learn, because these are skills that, in terms of communication, human communication, that are really eternal skills. From there, we move to the meetings. Let's see, the presentations is it's about what is that? That's 9 hours. So that's about 6 lessons. We're going to actually go through each step of presentations, speaking practice with communication skills, like I mentioned, all the way through, and that's 6 lessons until you're finally creating not just parts of a presentation, but your own presentation, and learning to answer questions. As you can tell, I love questions. And the questions, if you're doing questions at the end of your presentation, and you should, that's what the audience walks away with, and that's really going to give a strong impression. It can almost make or break your presentation. From there, it's going to be 6 more hours. That's 4 more lesson sessions about meetings and how we do first we're going to learn, of course, the standard process of meetings. meetings, calling a meeting, how to do agendas and minutes and the roles in a meeting, very important, and then how to do the process and how you're going to ensure that people who are there are participating. And so anyway, how you're doing this in the best way possible, the kinds of things to say, how to say them, how to give an opinion, how to disagree, all these kinds of soft skills that are very important to internal communications or meetings, with external parties. And so this is as I say, this kind of evolution here really can develop the communication skills, moving from writing all the way to talking to many people at once. So, and getting, feedback 2-way, 10-way. Yeah. I hope that answers your question there.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ludwigson. One more question. Since you will teach the student via the online class, so how is your strategy to make them get the involvement or get the interaction, or how they can get the practice if compared to the on-site classes? How is your strategy?
Yeah. Okay. Hey, that's a really good question. I'm glad to hear that. That's a question that a lot of people don't ask, and they should ask. Okay. I think I just want to make sure that I understand correctly that we're asking, compared to online, compared to or contrasted with in-person courses, how can I get the engagement? How can I? Well, actually, doing live online courses. This is not my first time doing this. During the lockdowns, we all remember, I've been doing that with companies and also with the MBA groups at NIDA for a few years there. So I found out is that what we need, we need engagement. If students are buying into this, if they're not interested in this, then they're going to turn off their camera, they're going to walk away, they're going to do things. So it has to be something relevant and interesting. I mean, that might mean that this course is not for everybody. Personally, I believe that the themes of the course, that communication is for everybody. But if people aren't really willing to be interested in it, then you can never force anyone to learn. Now, that doesn't mean that the work is entirely on the student's head, because what that means is we've also got to make sure that what I'm teaching you is as relevant and useful to you as possible. The course topics have been steadily improving. What I've been developing this course for, I think, as Kuntana Korn mentioned, introducing me for about 20 years in companies and classrooms and even in my own company. So besides the online, live online instruction that I'm going to be giving, I'm also going to be doing Ask Me Anything sessions on social media. We've got a messenger group where I'd like to see questions coming in. We might have a little bit of homework, not too much, but there's going to be projects involved, and hopefully people get a lot of fun out of this. And also like to mention that this course is going to be attended by people from different nationalities, maybe different businesses and related businesses. So it's also a great networking opportunity for the people who attend. And that's what I mean it to be too, because in my experience, growing a business, I served those hundreds of companies that you mentioned me serving. I did all of those through actual personal referrals. Okay. So that goes to show you how important networking can be. I've also belonged to a networking organization, and some of the best advertising you'll ever get is by people who like what you're doing and believe in it, and they're willing to talk to other people about it. So I hope I've given you enough information there to be intrigued and interested and understand how we're going to develop the interest to keep people engaged in this. And I also tell a few good jokes sometimes to get better.
Thank you, Mr. Ludwigson. Maybe we have a little time about
Sure.
3 or 4 minutes. Could you
Okay.
please wrap up about
Okay. Great.
or you would like to, you would like to encourage the people who are going to make decision that why they should apply to this Start Right Business English with you, please.
Okay. Wrapping up. Well, if I could wrap that up, sure, and summarize that with a recommendation for you. I think that the people who be joining the Start Right Business Program are going to be really two kinds of people in general. Okay, different nationalities, different industries, different backgrounds. Okay, different positions in companies. But in general, we could say there's going to be entrepreneurs, maybe business owners, and there's going to be employees, professionals. Who now the business owners, maybe they want to, maybe they're starting a new company or they're expanding. They want to build something that works better than it has before. And for the professionals, they want to increase or improve their skills with something that can be done internationally, maybe with international companies. Maybe someday they're looking to do their own business. The Start Right Business English program is really designed to enable both of those kinds of people. There's two kinds of goals and motivations. I looked at this as something that was going to handle one of the constant truths of business, which is change. Okay, that means change has come or change will come. So maybe if you're an entrepreneur and you're looking at your business and you've grown, that means that change has come because you're growing to a point where, hey, I can no longer run this as, sort of the mom and pop shop, micromanaging everything that I could do, and it was very small, and that's what you had to do setting it up. But you get to a point where that can't really work anymore. You've got too many employees, too many customers, too many partners. There aren't any standards. You have to run around and you're exhausting yourself. I set this Start Right Business Program up to help you, to take you to the next level that all businesses must achieve if they're going to grow successfully after that level. Okay, that's what it's there to empower you and empower you to be able to do. If you're a professional, okay, maybe you're looking at something like change will come. Okay, maybe you're not a business owner, you're not a business owner yet, or maybe you're starting a new business. Change will come, and the skills that you're going to learn, the standards you're going to learn in Start Right Business English, this is going to enable you to be able to handle that change, handle a growing company, handle working and succeeding in an international company. Okay, doing business with international partners and international customers. And that's what I did, combining all of my experience in different companies. I saw so many ways of doing things, and these are the truths that again and again and again I've seen, and I went back and studied and researched over the years, and these are the verifiable truths, and this is what we need. So that's what the Start Right Business English program is designed to handle that and give you the tools that you need to succeed. Whether you're an entrepreneur or a professional that's rising up in your career that wants to do more, or a manager, in the same or similar position. I hope that answers the question, and I do hope to see everybody, as many people in the course as I said before. It's something that I really believe in. I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ludwigson, for your valuable sharing knowledge for today about our webinar that talk about the Start Right Business English Series 2. Before we ending our webinar today, I would like to tell that our first class will start 1st November, next Wednesday, next week. Now, from our information, our first class almost full sitting. Now left only 9 people, 9 sitting. So for this special occasion, we will still extend the 15% discount for the personal application. But if you come with the 3 persons, you can pay only 2 persons until now to 31st October for this special discount. So please apply via our Facebook page, Octopus Agency, this page, or you can email to us via the Octopus OKTOPUZ 369 at gmail.com. And also, if you would like to contact via the mobile number, you can call to our coordinator, our telesale that they really ready all the time for you at the mobile number in Myanmar. In Myanmar, mobile number is 09796 628 480. How about in Thailand, Mr. Ludwigson? Can you give us your phone number if some people in Thailand would like to apply?
Oh yeah. Yes, I certainly can. Yeah, if you're in Thailand or even other countries, if you can reach me easier, yeah, certainly give me a call, or you can also contact me on Facebook or Messenger, any other channel you find me at, or even asking a question, probably in the chats here directed toward me. I'd love to answer. As I say, I love questions. So my mobile number in Thailand is 081 147 8072. Okay, 66 is the country number. So 081 147 8072. Feel free to send me a message, contact me, any means possible. I'd love to hear from you. Even if you don't wind up, signing up for the course, contact me. I'd love to answer your questions and give you some direction if you need it, or help you out. That's what we're all about.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ludwigson, for today, your special sharing with us with the free webinar, Start Right in Business English program. So thank you to our audience today, our attendee from both Myanmar and Thailand also. We will see you in the first class next week, Wednesday, 1st November. Yeah, total is 16 day together, 2 months that we will meet with you for Start Right Business English program, email, telephone, presentation, and meeting skill that everyone will conquer your target in business, achieving your goal, your target by improving your communication skill in business English with Mr. Wayne Eldon Ludwigson II, our instructor. So thank you very much, Mr. Ludwigson, today. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks everybody for attending, and I hope to see you soon. Can't wait. Very exciting.
Yes, ขอบคุณครับ จิสุตินบาเด Good evening.